Hi, I'm Phil Constantine, and in this Travels with Phil, we're going to the southern end of Lake George in New York State. We're going to look at the waterfront, the battlefield that's out there, Fort William Henry, and a few other spots. This is where Lake George is located on the New York map. And first off, let's go out to the waterfront, and I'll show you a video I shot there in 2016.
Travels with Phil continues. Lake George, the very southern end here in the city of Lake George.
Lake is about 32 miles long.
Get that frisbee.
Goes from about 1 to 3 miles wide.
See why a lot of folks from downstate come up here. Very nice. And then this is the Lake George Battlefield State Park. On St. George, the Mohican. Going out to lake, I would say go out to sea. And then there's another one way out there, just off the point. See it way out there. Got a couple of them out here. Check out the antlers out of the pilot house.
Back in 2005, one of these boats overturned and about a dozen people were killed.
Lake George at the southern end. And there she goes for a trip around the lake.
And just some more pictures as you're approaching the lake. It's, like I say, it's very long. George O'Keeffe lived there for a while. I'm still not sure what that sign is for. Is that the rodeo grounds or a weird telephone? Never did get a good answer to that one. But you can see the lake for quite some distance. And again, it varies 1 to 3 miles wide and 33 miles long. Beautiful scenery right along the edge of the coast here. A lot of millionaires have homes out here for the summertime. Gets very cold during the wintertime. And the fort, which we're going to look at in just a couple of minutes here, if you've ever seen the movie or read the book Last of the Mohicans, that took place here. The actual, the French and the British fighting, and then the Indians coming after the British after the French had taken their surrender. So this is Fort William Henry. This is now a tourist attraction. They rebuilt it, and it's privately owned. This is sort of a map of the fort, and here's some video I took when I was there.
And this is the reconstructed tourist attraction, Fort William Henry. I think it's like $20 to get in.
1757, yeah. Since I'd done Fort Ticonderoga, I decided not to pay that kind of price to see more reenactors basically doing the same kind of thing, and since it wasn't the original fort. But if you like forts, I've been told that it is a very nice one. All right, moving over to the battlefield, which this took place, well, there's been fighting going on from 1755 through 1814. And let's start off with about this spring.
Travels with Phil continues at the Lake George Battleground State Park. This is it looks like a spring. Not really sure if it is or not, but it says here, in every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the seventh generation from the great law of the Iroquois Confederacy. And this monument was dedicated on September 17, 2005, several different groups. And a lot of these seeds that you see in there, those are the Rice Krispie kind of things I found on my car this morning. A lot of rain last night, and they all came from the trees. But it's a very nice sculpture here. Oddly enough, the roads were closed to the state park. No signs that said when the state park was open. So I just found a public parking down the street and walked over. But that's nice, I like that. Water dripping down. The rock says something, but I can't tell what it is. It's a very, very pretty setting out here. It's just at the end of Lake George. And lots and lots of hotels and little inns and places out here. But the setting here at the park is very nice.
Now, the battle that took place out here was on September the 8th, 1755. About 1,500 British, a roughly equivalent number of French as well. The French had quite a few Indians with them. The British had a number as well. And the battle went on. Fort George here. And there's lots to see out here, lots of signs, so they do give you some education. Some of the statues here, the colonial men, colonial army, as they worked out here in 1903. And the Mohawks were living in the general area here. And the land tortoise. And 4 unknown soldiers are buried there, so there are some soldiers buried out here as well. Old picture of what the area will look like. And so they've had numerous conflicts here because it's a natural spot. It's on a path that the Indians have been using for a long time. And so it was just a natural spot for people to be in. It was obvious. A birch just lying around, peelings off of the tree, birch bark. It's rather some interesting things on the ground as well. Found some turf that had just been flipped over and looked like there was mold underneath it. See that maybe in a moment here. So as you wander through, hear a jet plane in the background. That's the Blue Angels are flying over me at the moment. So a little bit of military going on during the voiceover as well. There you go. This is some of the turf that looks like it's moldy underneath. Looks like it just got peeled back. Not really sure what that was. They still have a lot of the old trenches that are out here, the old earthworks that were set up by either side. So an interesting spot. And several very nicely open manicured places where you can see the lake as well. So it's pretty as well. Now the Jesuits came through the area. This is the story about one of them, Father José. I'm not good at pronouncing.
Travels with Phil continues at Lake George Battlefield. This fence you see right in front of you here, that's about 4 feet tall. That gives you an example, an idea of how tall this statue is here. Ad Madrem Dei Gloriam. Come around to the back where there's an inscription for it. And it says Father George S.J., Society of Jesuits, I believe, Ambassador of Peace from New France to the 5 nations of the Iroquois with his companion Jean Bourdon, discovered these waters, named them Lake de Saint-Sacrament, May 30th, 1646. Martyred by the Mohawks at the river of their name on October the 18th of that same year. First European to see these waters. Nice statue though. And here at the beginning of the lake, Lake George.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up by clicking on the button below. You're welcome to leave comments below as long as the language is family friendly. And finally, if you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel by clicking the button over on the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you again for watching.